This is how my client coming in today. Today we're going to give you some pressure culture. I'm from Baltimore, so I'm giving her a cut called the Cruddie temp. That's what we do in Baltimore. It's a high ball temp. Let's get busy. So to start off, combing everything down, of course. I'm coming in, making my bald line. Now notice how when I make my bald line, I'm tapping very lightly because I'm putting it in like I'm shaping up. But then I come up afterwards and I hit the line coming up to it. This makes it easier to take out the bald line. Also, notice the hairline. I'm starting my bald line and I'm leaving a chunk of the hairline right there. Now I'm coming in with my Andes Masters completely open and I'm flicking up at this guideline. Always flick up at the guidelines because it makes it easier to take them out. So now when I get everything to this length, I go ahead and close my lever and I close it to about almost all the way. It's the last dot before fully closed. And then I just flick at that bottom line and that bottom line comes right out. And after that, I go ahead and do some detail work or open my clippers up, make sure everything's even, close them up when I get lower. You know, it's all about that lever play at this point. Now I'm coming in with a 1.5 and I'm gonna put the hair all the way out of the way. And I'm making everything this 1.5 open length. I make a 1.5 open and then I close it and come with the grain. And when you do a Cruddie temp, this you can fade it like that. Now I'm coming in with my 1 open and I'm just gonna go ahead and flick up. I'm just flicking up right here, trying to get everything. You see how I'm going sideways? Notice how I'm going sideways. And now I'm closing up and I'm just doing the same thing, but in my head, I'm consciously not going higher than I did with that 1 open. I'm coming with the grain. I'm flicking up against the grain. I'm going sideways. Her hair was growing backwards right there. So you see I'm coming diagonal when I'm cutting her hair. And now I'm coming back in with my Andes Masters completely open. And I'm just flicking out at these spots that I see that need to be worked on. This detail work, this is lever play. When you go up in the fade, you open the lever up. If you go down in the fade, you close the lever. That's the more hair you cut when it's closed and the less hair you cut when it's open. So I'm stretching the skin. I'm adjusting my lever accordingly. And I'm coming with the grain, against the grain. I'm doing whatever I need to do to make sure everything, this blend comes all the way together. You can notice how I'm even blending with the grain. I just moved the lever up and down and I'm blending with the grain. Now that's how the blend's looking. Now I'm doing the same thing on this side. Now my reference point is the top of the ear. I start the bald line at where the ear stops. You see that? That's where I always start my bald line on every client. So you guys can use that to have a reference point to know where to start your bald line at for a Cruddie temp. Now I'm coming in with open and I'm going up, flicking out again, going sideways. Whatever way the hair grows, you got to cut opposite of that. That's what against the grain means. Now I'm closing up, I'm stretching the skin, I'm flicking that line straight out. Now I'm coming with that 1.5 open against the grain. I'm moving all the hair out of the way. When you're doing a Cruddie temp, you can move all the hair out of the way and just blend that area. Coming with the grain, against the grain. Now I got my 1 open. I'm coming against the grain, with the grain. And I'll do the same thing with my 1 closed. Now I closed it up. When you do this method, when you learn this blend method, you can go very fast. So now I'm just stretching the skin, doing some detail work with my 1 closed. See how I'm going sideways? Her hair is growing to the left, so I'm cutting it to the right. Checking my mirror. You always check your mirrors. Before you do your detail work, check your mirrors so you can see where everything's at. And now, again, I'm doing the lever play. I'm opening my lever, closing my lever, going with the grain, going against the grain. I'm doing whatever I need to do and adjusting my lever accordingly to bring everything together. Now I'm coming in with my holding spray. And go ahead and spray the client's hairline down. Now we're going to do the same steps on the back. And again, when your client has a bush like this, you can just lift the bush up and it will naturally have a part where you need to fade at. So right now I'm coming in with my 1.5 closed, completely closed, and I'm coming up against the grain, making everything that 1.5 length, even around the ears. Now I'm coming with my 1 open, and I'm just gonna come with the grain just to smooth everything out. So first I went 1.5 closed against the grain. Now I'm going 1 open with the grain to make everything a smoothed out, you know, everything ready to start that blend. Around the ears too. And now I'm just coming up with the one open. I don't do guidelines on the back of the head. I just come up and flick out. And it just makes a natural, nice blend. It just blends down like water. Again, you all use that lever play. Even when you got the 1 or the 1.5 on, you can use that lever play. You feel me? And you just blend. Right now, I just close it up. I'm coming with the grain, smooth everything out. Now I'm coming back against the grain with the 1 closed. That's always my steps. A blend is a higher length going to a lower length. So I start with a 1.5 open, then 1.5 closed, then a 1 open, then a 1 closed, and then the Andes Masters open and closed. No guards. And it's that easy. Then I'm spraying the neck hairline down with the holding spray. Now coming to the hairline with a plant in the middle, but you see this motion right here? I'm dragging down bushiness and excess hair because she has a bush. So when I'm doing that motion, I'm scraping the excess hair from her bush to get it out the way. I'm just smoothing the hairline down. So I plant in the middle and then I go directly to the left. And every time I go to the left, I'm coming back to the right. But every time you see that motion, that's me trying to clean up the excess bulk from her bush. That's why I don't have to cut the hairline down. I can just kind of, you know, rake the excess hair out of the way. And right now I'm even stretching the skin. Sometimes you got to stretch the skin when they got a bush to ensure you get that straight line. Now I'm starting my sidebar and I'm bringing my sidebar down at an angle, angling towards the eye. Always angle my sidebars forward. If you angle your sidebars forward, it looks straight from the front. Whereas if you come straight down, it would look slanted from the front. And you see, I'm just going over the hairline multiple times, ensuring everything is where it needs to be. That's how we're looking. Now, when I do a touch up on the hairline, I always comb the hair across the hairline. Then I re-hit it to ensure wherever way the hair is brushed or combed, the hairline's always there. And I always come in for the high ball temps and re-blend. I re-blend the hairline in with the blend. Because remember, at the beginning, we kept the hairline dark, so the hairline will pop out. Then I go ahead and re-blend to make everything come together at the end. So now we're going to do the right side the same way we did the left. We're starting in the middle. I'm stepping back. I'm raking. I'm looking at the whole picture. You know what I mean? I'm going right. Every time I go right, I come back across to the left. I'm looking from the front, ensuring everything is straight. And, you know, once you guys get this process down, it's just going to be second nature to you. But if you guys are having problems, if your hairline is being crooked, just keep checking your mirrors and checking the whole hairline from the front when you do each side. You see how I go to the front and you know, clean everything up? You guys got to be checking the mirrors and checking from the front to ensure everything comes together. And again, I'm combing across the hairline, and then I'm stretching the skin and hitting the hairline again to ensure wherever the hair is combed at, the hairline is going to be straight. Angling my sidebar forward. Now coming in and I'm re-blending the hairline back in to make sure everything is blended nicely and everything comes together. That's how we're looking. No enhancements. I'm going to go ahead and do the back. I start behind the ear to have a fullest straight line. And I'm just connecting. Every time I go one way, I come back the other way to connect everything. And notice how I switch my clippers when I'm cleaning up the neck area here. The neck area is always very sensitive, and my black trimmers are very sharp. So when I'm doing some cleanup work, I always switch to some trimmers that aren't as sharp as the ones I'm using, so I don't accidentally cut or nick the client. I only do the outline and the shape up with them, and then I come in with the other trimmers to clean everything up. And as you see, when I get to the curve, I'm hitting the swerve. Every time I get to the curve, I use my corners and I hit the swerve move. That's all you got to do. And that's how we're looking on that side. And we're gonna go to this side, and we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Except this time I'm starting from the bottom so I can ensure that each side of the neck looks symmetrical. So right now I'm looking from the back of the neck and starting that line so they look the same on each side. And I'm coming up to the ear. I'm going back and forth to make sure that line is straight. Once I get to that curve, I use my corner and I hit that swerve. You're gonna see the swerve? That's the swerve right there. You get to the curve, you hit the swerve. And again, I'm using that rake motion, cleaning the hairline up, moving some bulk out of the way. I'm swerving to the front. I'm swerving all the way from the back to the front to make sure everything connects. You know what I mean? Using my corner, holding the ear down, cleaning all that excess off. I come with my gold trimmers. I'm cleaning all that extra hair up. You know what I mean? Retouching everything just to make sure everything is straight, but won't cut my client. That's how we're looking. Now I'll come to the back and I use these Andes Masters to blend everything out at the end. So now I can see where it needs to be blended at with that shape up right there. That's what I like to do. I blend from the 1.5 to the 1, and then I do the shape up, and then I blend with the Andes Masters with no guard at the end of the blend, after the shape up. That's how I like to do the back tapers. You know what I mean? I'm doing some detail work. I'm going against the grain, going with the grain, adjusting my lever. And, that brings everything together. Now I'm going to go ahead and use some enhancements. And notice how my hand is constantly moving when I'm spraying. My hand is constantly moving to ensure that everything gets an even spray. And I'm only using a little bit of spray, and that's how we're looking. Now I'm coming in with the fibers. And I'm going to spray slightly off of the hairline with the fibers. I spray slightly off of the hairline, and this ensures that when I go to reshape everything up, it's going to give a super sharp look. So now after I spray my no drip color enhancement and the fibers, I come in and I reshape everything up. Same way I just did, starting from the middle, going to the left, going to the right, making sure everything is looking nice, looking right. Yeah, pressure with the bars on y'all. Yep, now I'm going to the right side, doing the same thing. Making sure everything is shaped up. That's how we're looking. Now, I don't like that hairline coming all the way down to the eyebrow look. So I always go and reblend the enhancements in, just like how I do the hairline. I always reblend the enhancements as well. This way it gives a realistic look, and the hairline's still there, but it's blended out as it comes down. Now I lay my client back. I'm stretching the skin, holding my razor at a 45-degree angle, and I'm bringing everything back to the hairline. This is where everything comes together. I don't use any pencils. Sometimes I use pencils for client requests, but most of the time I just use my straight razor, and it gives a natural ash line. So I don't need the pencil. She came in with a bush. She was looking rough. She was looking scruff. She came in mad. She came in sad. She left in her bag. Y'all know what's going on, man. It's nothing but pressure. Pressure every time, man. I do this every single cut, all day, every day. Hashtag nothing but pressure in the comments, man. Let me know what y'all learned. Any tips and tricks for me, any tips and tricks for other barbers, leave them all in the comments. Let us know what's going on. This is that Baltimore Cruddie temp right here. That's where pressure from. I'm from Baltimore. This is a regular haircut that a lot of people get. This is our haircut. You know what I mean? So when you see a dude with this, you see somebody with this, you know they got a Cruddie.